Welcome to the MLG Spring Championship Kespa Starcraft2 qualifiers. This is Group B, round of 8, the first set between SoO and rOrO. My name is Whiplash, and I'll be casting these replays along with Supernova Maniac. And the winner from Group B will get an all-expenses-paid trip to MLG Anaheim, which will be happening this June 28th through the 30th. So our Zerg player from Samsung Khan in the blue. In the bottom right, his name is rOrO, the last GSL Wings of Liberty champion.
His opponent is SoO from SKT1. He spawns as Red Zerg at the 11 o'clock position.
Indeed he does. So we got a ZvZ here. And what are your thoughts between these two players?
Well, I'm not too sure because SoO, when it comes to MLG qualifiers, he plays so strong. You look at him last year during the MLG versus the Pro League versus the rest of the world qualifier, and SoO did fantastic. He actually won the whole tournament to make it into the MLG last year. He didn't do well on the stage matches, but when it comes to the practice house, SoO does really well. Yeah,
so it seems like SoO still has some mentality issues to deal with as far as dealing with the main stage experience. It's, of course, one of the hardest things to deal with once you hit that top level of pro gaming, because there are so many, I guess you could call them practice house bonjois, warriors that do amazing in a comfortable environment, but when they're thrown into some chaos, they kind of shatter and fall apart, and that's where you need that mentality, that mindset, just the unwavering ability to, you know, go through everything and not falter.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now SoO opening up with the pull first as soon as he takes on the hatchery over there, and rOrO opening up with the hatchery first in this game.
Yeah, going for the hatchery, then getting the gas and pool. Pretty much the greediest opening in ZvZ you can get away with.
Both players are going to stabilize on two bases no matter what, as none of the players went for the tempo or something really dramatic in this game. So it's just going to be a standard opening. And the first fight between the two players is going to be the Zergling Wars, whoever makes more Zerglings and who makes a lot of Banelings and trying to bust their opponent.
Yeah, that's something that happens a lot. And, you know, I wouldn't put it past either of these guys to try to really overly invest into that or a Roachling bust, because, you know, these guys, overall, they're pretty solid in standard players, but they're not afraid to throw in a little flash into the pan every now and then.
Yeah, and of course, the first set between the two players in the best-of-3 series, these two players are going to try to play as solid as possible, just trying to test the water, see how their opponent is doing today, and then start doing the prepared builds on set number 2 and set number 3.
Yeah, indeed they are. Of course, this is the first set, in case you guys haven't noticed. It's 0-0 right now. And, well, we're going to have to see how this game progresses out here. We do have rOrO going for his Zergling speed first, and SoO is going to get that shortly as well here. He's going to send in his first pair of Zerglings here, going to confirm that there is a hatchery at the natural, and he also sees these additional lings, going to go ahead and run away with his Zerglings instead of moving towards the main base to get any additional scouting information there, because, I mean, there's not too much he really needs to see at this point.
And rOrO having a superior gas count, he's going to be the first player in this game to go for the Baneling Nest.
Yeah, we should see a Baneling Nest shortly from SoO as well here, and there it is right there, man.
Just a standard opening from these players. Now, I want to see how phenomenal their macro is today. Really nice deny from SoO, just denying rOrO from scouting what is inside the main base.
Yeah, I love that he used his drones at like a split second there to prevent the scouting here. And it looks like rOrO's going to be the first one to start the aggression here, building 8 Zerglings behind this, but SoO following this up. He's up to 10 now in production, and we're going to go into the Baneling Wars, it looks like you said here.
Usually when it comes to Kespa players, it's one player trying to defend and the other player trying to put on heavy aggression. In these scenarios, as one player has tons of Zerglings streaming through, and the other player trying to get as many spine crawlers, trying to wall off the natural, and trying to fortify his position. But right now, both players, rOrO's going to test some water with these Zerglings over here as he transitions into lair right behind us.
This is a really fast lair, actually. So rOrO moving into the main base, actually, and he may be able to get some drone kills here, even potentially kill the queen, but now just going to go ahead and do a little bit of a merry-go-round here. SoO getting a few good hits off of there, but still hasn't picked off the majority of those lings, only getting a few here and there, and rOrO trying to do some harassment, but he's being stopped at every turn here from SoO.
The key point is rOrO behind us. He's making a few Zerglings, only making sure that he has enough to defend against what SoO has right now. Also, rOrO got a complete scouting inside the main base, saw that there was no layer going down, so he is so far ahead in tech compared to his opponent.
Yep, that's true. And these banelings got to be careful. SoO doing some last-second insane splits there.
Yeah, but nice hits by rOrO. Takes a lot of Zerglings out, and rOrO has enough Zerglings on his own to defend against what SoO has.
So SoO, he's going to move into the main base with the last of these lings here, just to get a little bit of scouting on his opponent. He does confirm that there is a layer already complete here. So SoO's going to be like, okay, I have to make sure that my tech isn't too far behind my opponents. We're opting to go for Spire Tech this game instead of Roaches. And we do see SoO continuing to make a few more lings and banelings for defense, as well as putting a Spine Crawler at that natural. rOrO now taking the gases at his natural.
SoO most likely he's going to go for Spire Tech also. We don't see any Evolution Chamber going down at the natural or any Roach Warren coming down, because usually when the players start transitioning into laner, that's when they throw down the Roach Warren.
No Roach Warrens to speak of yet.
Yep,
All right, there's a Spire. So rOrO, he is going to be ahead. He's had more gas throughout pretty much the entire game. And this first Spire here from him, it's going to complete a lot faster than SoO's. So this may factor into a bit of a snowball effect if rOrO can get some good damage in early on.
Oh yeah, definitely. And all rOrO has to do right now is just to make sure not to sacrifice those mutas early in the game. He has a nice lead right now. Look at the gas count. 480 of rOrO to only 400 of SoO, which means that rOrO, he could squeeze out one more muta compared to his opponent.
Now, SoO does a nice job delaying rOrO's third base, though, however.
Yes.
Killing the drone off as well as a couple of lings here. But
because of that, the response is going to be, well, you deny my third base, I'm going to kill your third hatchery with 20 Zerglings out of the way. And the Spire finishes for rOrO.
Yeah, SoO's still doing a good job here defending this third base. He's got some lings here, and the Spine Crawler is going to make sure that that third base doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. rOrO continuing to build mutas now.
Yeah.
Has up to 8 in production. SoO, though, continuing to get a lot of lings behind this.
Well, he knows that there's a lot of Zerglings that rOrO just made right now with the third base being delayed, so he knows he needs to get some banelings out and his own Zerglings to make sure he fortifies the third base, because given the fact that he has early third base and his opponent, he wants to make sure the third base does not get taken out and get the gas lead. Now, SoO's going to completely commit into the Mutatech right now, as the +1 carapace is on the way. 8 more mutas being built from SoO, but rOrO, he's going to transition into Roach, so this is more of Wings of Liberty style that we see from rOrO today.
Yeah, this is of course because the Spore Crawlers are really good at dealing with mutas now. They did get a very nice damage buff versus bio units. Of course, Spore Crawlers can only attack air, so pretty much sad Overlords and Corruptors mutas and the occasional Broodlord are the only victims of that upgrade.
Zergling's trying to go for the third base, trying to deny the hatchery once again, and ooh, nice baneling hit, but there's still a lot of Zerglings left over here, so rOrO needs to pull back all of his mutas and Zerglings over here to barely defend the third base. Yeah, the third base is going to get low, but rOrO will defend that for now. We could see additional run-bys from SoO later on in the game to potentially take that base down. We do have the +1 carapace is a lot faster for SoO this time around than rOrO. So even though rOrO got the early Spire, he didn't invest in that early +1. This is what happened. rOrO was trying to transition into regular game with the Roaches and possibly Hydras being mixed in, Infestors being mixed into the main army composition. But he started his +1 carapace as soon as he realized that SoO was going for mutas. Yeah, so when you confirm that... So he expected SoO to go for ground-based army. rOrO was trying to do some nice harassment with the early 8 mutas and then transition to ground army once again. But because SoO is going for air, rOrO has to match the number of mutas that he has right now. And as we look at the big picture here, SoO, he has got 121 supply to the 105 of rOrO, and I think that goes back to getting that earlier third base. That certainly has helped out a lot, and rOrO, to try to kind of equalize that, he's going for a really fast fourth base here, and the muta count. The +1 carapace is done for SoO, so rOrO cannot engage over here. Yeah, the muta count's looking really similar here. The Zergling's running by to that third base as well as the mutas. SoO, with this attack here, he could potentially cripple rOrO's economy and army. Yeah, well, this could be game ending right now as he has fantastic lead in the muta count. Look at the muta count right now. 18 mutas to 11. rOrO cannot take out these mutas as there's no queens to cover this area either as the hatchery goes down. There is a Zergling run by at the natural of SoO, and it's doing a nice damage, but it's not as devastating as your third base being taken out.
Yeah, third base being taken out, the mute account now being way in SoO's favor here. Things are just looking worse and worse for rOrO. He's putting a few transfuses on his mutas here and using the queens for defense, but I mean, okay, well, the mute account has pretty much been equalized, but SoO still has such a large economic lead. rOrO does have that secret fourth base to himself, but it's not really saturated or online at all here. He's just trying to, do a little bit of run bys at that natural. There's actually not many drones there. SoO still has 50 overall, though, so it's still, I guess, a decently healthy count, but the muta battle is going on in the middle of the map here, and the number of mutas is still very equal between both players here. 13-13. They both have the +1 carapace, but SoO is just sending in a swarm of Zerglings to the natural and main of rOrO here, and even if rOrO wins this muta battle here, he's not going to have any economy. GG.